Today, we unravel the mystery of how a high school teenager from Florida hacked one of the largest social media platforms on the planet and turned the internet on its head. You're listening to the Cyber Distortion podcast with Kevin and Jason. This is Season 5, Episode 1, The Day That Twitter Died. On a quiet afternoon, Twitter suddenly stopped being trustworthy. Blue check marks, presidents, billionaires, tech giants, all started saying the same thing. Send Bitcoin, get double back. For a few surreal minutes, the world watched one of the largest communication platforms on Earth lose control of its own voice. And behind it all was a teenager. Twitter wasn't just a social network, it was a digital town square, where policy was debated, markets moved, and news broke in real time. Its security was assumed to be airtight, untouchable, until it wasn't. Because this attack didn't come from a foreign government or an elite cybercrime syndicate. It came from someone most people would never suspect. A teen with no official power, but a deep understanding of people. It didn't begin with alarms or flashing warning screens. It began with a routine interruption. A Twitter employee answered a call that sounded ordinary enough. Calm, professional, familiar. The person on the line claimed to be part of internal support, calling about a minor network problem that supposedly needed quick attention. Nothing urgent, nothing suspicious. Trying to resolve the issue, the employee followed along. A link was opened, credentials were entered, a prompt appeared on their phone, and was approved without hesitation. Within moments, the problem seemed to vanish. The caller wrapped up politely, exchanged pleasantries, and disconnected, leaving behind no sign that anything had gone wrong at all. When the call ends, the voice on the line belongs to a 17-year-old named Graham Ivan Clark. He isn't part of Twitter's support staff. He's a teenager living in Tampa, Florida. Someone still in high school, but already drawn to luxury watches and elaborate gaming rigs. And with a few carefully chosen words, he has just gained access to the internal systems of one of the most powerful communication platforms on Earth. What came next unfolded at breathtaking speed. In a matter of hours, some of the most recognizable accounts on Twitter, former presidents, tech CEOs, global figures, were taken over and used to broadcast the same fraudulent message to millions of followers. The 2020 Twitter breach wasn't just a shocking headline or a story about a young offender. It became a defining lesson. Because the real weakness wasn't Twitter, it was the people running it. In this episode, we'll show you how Graham Ivan Clark talked his way right into Twitter's control panel and why this could happen again. Chapter 1, Finding His Voice. Before Graham Ivan Clark ever touched Twitter's systems, before he ever learned the sound of corporate confidence, before the internet whispered his name, he learned how to vanish. Tampa, Florida. Suburban streets, lawns cut to perfection, sunlight, palm trees, and tranquility. It didn't look like a breeding ground for digital crime, but crime doesn't need alleys anymore. It needs bandwidth. By day, Graham was a student, a teenager who blended into hallways and classrooms. No trench coat, no manifesto. By night, he entered rooms with no doors, Discord servers, encrypted chats, underground forums where teenage voices carried adult crimes. In these spaces, reputation wasn't built on grades. It was built on access. His early victories were crude: stolen gaming accounts, Instagram profiles hijacked, phone numbers rerouted through SIM swapping. Each success came with proof: screenshots, wallet balances, usernames stripped from their owners. Every victory was applauded, and every victory taught him the same lesson. Machines don't hesitate, but people do. Firewalls can block packets, encryption can guard secrets, but politeness opens doors. Graham began to understand something fundamental. Security wasn't just technical, it was social. He started studying companies the way burglars study floor plans, not where the cameras were, but where the people were tired. He learned how customer support scripts were written, what phrases meant "I belong here," what words triggered escalation. He memorized how internal tools were discussed, never described in detail, but mentioned casually, like secrets shared out loud. By 2020, Graham wasn't hacking passwords. He was hacking conversations. He learned how authority sounded, not loud, not aggressive, routine, corporate, boring. Then he found Twitter, not the app, the machine behind it. Inside Twitter lived an internal administrative dashboard, a powerful system used by employees to help locked out users and manage high-profile accounts. From this system, an operator could do things like change an email address, disable two-factor authentication, reset credentials, and even override safeguards. This system was like having God mode in your favorite video game. You were the king of the digital castle, and you possessed the keys to the kingdom. This system was never meant for outsiders. It was protected by trust. Graham didn't see a fortress. He saw a stage, so he prepared. He learned Twitter's internal language, how support tickets were labeled, how IT problems were framed. He rehearsed how to sound, helpful, unbothered, routine, not rushed, not nervous, like someone who belonged. He wasn't alone. Other young hackers shared techniques. They bragged about targets, compared trophies, and Twitter was the biggest trophy, a platform that could move markets. It could shape elections. It could control narratives. And Graham believed he had found the door. On a quiet afternoon in July 2020, he dialed a number. On the other end was an unsuspecting Twitter employee, and Graham became someone else.
Hello?
Little did she know, but the voice on the other end of the line was about to give a teenager the power to speak as celebrities, influencers, billionaires, and even worse, presidents.
All right. Cyber Distortion Podcast, Season 5. I'm pumped. This is Episode 1. As you can see, this is going to be a killer story. Insanity. Teenager takes over Twitter. And what we know at this point, Jason, this kid is intelligent. This kid had the ability to do hacking. We've heard that he could do account takeovers, SIM card swapping. He's an avid gamer, so he's obviously very technical. He's done scams in the gaming community. And this is what we would call a social engineering hack. So let's get into some of our thoughts. I mean, if you don't know about social engineering, it's when you hack people and not systems. Systems you might hack through a piece of software that's not patched or through an exploit. In this case, the exploit is the human. So he's going after the people here, and he's using a very common tactic. He's using the pretext of, hey, you got a system issue, and I'm going to send you a support link. I'm going to help you fix that issue. And the user clicks on the link that you send them, and boom, the malicious payload or the backdoor is dropped on the machine. The interesting thing that I take away from Chapter 1 here, this goes back about 5 years, Jason, during the pandemic, 2020. You would assume Twitter employees are pretty savvy and pretty well trained when it comes to user awareness, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you would assume that. But it only takes one. And this is proof that regardless of how good your user awareness training program is, you only need to trick that one person to get them to bite.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
that just goes to show, I mean, companies the size of Twitter, they're at risk because of the number of employees they have. So my thoughts are fascinating. I'm ready to get into part 2. What are your thoughts so far?
Look, real quick, I'm going to throw something out, and I think we're going to see the story play out that it's more than just people. And we're going to see that as we go through this list, because almost always it is people being the biggest risk, but there's usually other things that are also broken in the process that causes a hack like this to happen this big and impact as much as it did. So I'm going with people plus access privilege issues. That's what I'm going with. So let's look at that as we go into the next chapter.
All right, let's jump in.
Chapter 2, How Twitter Lost Its Wings. The click sounded harmless. A link opened. Credentials entered. A phone prompt approved. No alarms, no flashing screens, just routine. That approval changed everything. Graham crossed into Twitter's internal admin system, not with code, with confidence. Inside, having God mode power looked dull. Drop-down menus, text fields, buttons labeled with polite names. This was the system that controlled the world's loudest voices. He moved slowly, testing the controls. A small account first, then another. Email addresses changed, Twitter handles modified, two-factor disabled, passwords reset, security pretty much erased. It all worked. He had proven this on test accounts. It was time to go bigger. Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Apple, Uber, Barack Obama, Joe Biden. Each account stripped the same way. No brute force, no malware, just permission. Then came the message. It wasn't complex, it wasn't clever, it was tactical and strategic, a lie that preys on trust. This lie was wearing the mask of some of the most famous faces in the world. Every single one trusted and verified. He varied it slightly, but every account said the same basic thing. Send in Bitcoin and get double the amount back. And people believed it. Because authority doesn't look like fraud, it looks like leadership. Inside Twitter headquarters, confusion became panic. Engineers saw verified accounts posting identical scams. Was it malware? Was it espionage? Was it a malicious insider? What the hell was going on? They didn't know. So they did something unprecedented. They froze the platform. Verified accounts locked. Tweeting restricted. Systems isolated. For the first time, Twitter stopped tweeting. Outside, the world definitely noticed. Newsrooms froze, markets twitched, governments watched. If Twitter could be hijacked, who controlled the truth? Meanwhile, a Bitcoin wallet was filling, transaction after transaction. By the time it ended, about $120,000. But money wasn't the wound. The wound was trust. In society, it's hard to gain trust. It's even harder to regain it once it's lost. As Graham sat in Florida, he quietly watched as the panic rippled outward. And in that moment, he understood something fatal. He hadn't robbed a platform. He had humiliated it. Graham was on top of the mountain. He did it. He slayed the social media giant. He did something that only few others could have pulled off. His personality, his skill, and his patience unlocked the door. Some might even say that Lady Luck smiled down on him for a brief moment that day. There was one problem: luck. It tends to run out at the most inconvenient of times. And soon, Graham's run of good luck was about to vaporize.
Wow, Kevin, like if this isn't getting super intriguing, here's the kicker. It's just like I was saying earlier, right? It's more than just people. He social engineered the right person, and the right person being the one who had privileged access. And because that person had privileged access, now he has access into all kinds of things he should have never had access to. So this kind of goes back into a lot of things: zero trust, zero, privilege access in areas that you shouldn't necessarily always have privileged access to. But the bigger question becomes this. So he hacked someone, social engineered them, got credentials, and now he's in the process of hacking the general public, social engiering the general public.
Yeah, that's the crazy part.
Yeah. And the implications on this, right, is you got an impersonation of Jeff Bezos talking about, hey, give me some crypto and I'll give you double back. And think about the markets being able to crash because all of a sudden all this Bitcoin is being traded and people don't know what's impacting the trading of all this Bitcoin. All right, that's just one example. Or some people become wise and be like, I don't know if I could trust it. Is Jeff Bezos really doing this? And then the trust of the system, both Twitter and the general public trust of real professional people, starts to decline. So I think the story is even bigger when you start to look at it in those lights of what the impact of one social engineering hack can do. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's wild. So we know he's got admin access. So he's got God mode, right? Lots of high level accounts. He's going after what we call in the industry the whales, right? He knew exactly what targets he wanted to hit. Dude's going after celebrities, actors, musicians, famous people with millions of followers. That he had the scam worked out the minute he got into it and had access. He already knew where he was going. And now all he's got to do is convince those people's followers to believe what they're saying. Hey, we're in a down economy. We have small businesses struggling as a result of the pandemic. Be generous with your money, give, and I'm going to match your give, and we're going to give it all back. We're going to help people out. So it's like the perfect storm of circumstances created this scenario where he could come in and prey on the hearts of generous people and try to take advantage of them. And the craziest thing about it for me, how could it possibly go wrong, Jason? These are verified and trusted accounts. Twitter is telling you who these people are that are saying this, right?
The gold stamp, right?
Exactly. I mean, it's crazy. And then inside Twitter, you have to imagine, if you're an IT person inside Twitter and this is going on, are you not immediately thinking this is an inside job?
Oh, yeah.
Has to be, right? Has to be a malicious insider, because nobody else would have the ability to do what's going on right now, seeing all of these massively followed accounts basically blast out the same message to try to obtain Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me, do you remember the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge?
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of that. And it's a good cause, give to the good cause, give back. And it just preys on people's generosity. So anyway, obviously, I love how that segment ended, though. The one problem, luck. And luck tends to run out at the most inconvenient times. Let's jump back in and see how this plays out.
Chapter 3, The Sound of Footsteps. Criminals love anonymity. Blockchains, on the other hand, well, they don't. Investigators followed the wallet. Every transaction visible, every movement permanent. Then they followed the voices, Discord logs, screenshots, bragging, because criminals don't stay silent, they celebrate. The trail narrowed, IP addresses, chat handles, digital fingerprints. It led back to Tampa, to a house with a teenager inside. Not a mastermind, not a spy, not a foreign enemy, just a kid who learned how to sound official. July 31st, 2020. Police knocked. Inside was Graham Ivan Clark, 17 years old, the architect of a breach that froze a global platform. He was charged as an adult. Dozens of felonies, fraud, identity theft, organized cybercrime. He would plead guilty, sentenced to 3 years in prison. The game, the one that he had so eloquently mastered, it was over. But the story wasn't about him. It was about the flaw he revealed. Twitter didn't fall because of code. It fell because of belief, because someone trusted a voice, because danger didn't sound dangerous. It was acting. The day Twitter died wasn't a cyber attack. It was a phone call. And the next one will sound just as friendly, and that one could be on your line. So, ask yourself, will you be ready? You'd better be.
All right. Well, what we know now is freaking busted, dude. Lady Luck did bite him. But I feel like I don't know that I would agree it was luck. I mean, this kid did his homework. He knew what he was doing. I mean, can you imagine what somebody like that with that amount of skill set could do if they were doing it for good? I mean, if I'm the FBI that busts this kid, I'm trying to hire him, man. The kid's smart as hell.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's going to sit in there. He has been sitting in there. He's still in there today, but he gets out this year, by the way. He's still sitting in jail, stewing on what he did wrong and what got him caught. He's going to come out even smarter, dude. So
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
This is one of those stories. It blows your mind when you think about how it happened. The fact that it could even happen this way is insanity to a company like Twitter. The types of accounts he took over, the fact that he had God mode access to the backend systems, that's even more insane. I love stories like this. This is where there's always lessons to be learned. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think first lesson in this is it doesn't matter the size of the company, the organization, the effort you put into it. Obviously, if you don't put enough effort into it, that's a problem. But these, it's not like Twitter didn't have a cybersecurity practice. Like they weren't already doing things to fortify their environment, to protect their accounts. It takes the wrong setup. People are the most vulnerable point. There's just so many things that you can align with this, that as an organization, you have to continue to be diligent. Everyone does. It doesn't matter your size. You have to be diligent. So things like tabletop exercises, running through what if scenarios. Hey, what if someone was to call Judy and Judy thinks it's real and she gives away all of her account information, and now they're using Judy's privilege to do whatever, right?
Especially if
to
Judy
run through
has
those scenarios.
Especially if she has elevated privilege, right?
Yeah, especially. So you have to run through those scenarios. That's an absolute, and not just once every now and then. You have to consistently keep challenging yourself that way. You have to look at mitigating controls. Right? What else could you have done that could have prevented a people mess up that could have escalated into this level of an issue? I tell you what, I can guarantee you a lot of those Twitter employees was wishing they had better mitigating controls because
you think?
Yeah, they don't want to be in that situation. That's for sure. Here's a couple of other key notes, and I want to pass it to you, Kevin. So let's put this into context. Although the impact was huge and even potentially bigger if it would have went further, from a monetary standpoint, it was only like $120,000 in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
That's what it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't like it was an astronomical amount of money. And then secondly, he got 3 years plus 3 years of probation. And so it raises the question of, because when they tried his case, he was tried as a minor, and that's why he ended up getting 3 years plus 3 years probation.
He actually got lucky. He wasn't a year older. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's the question of, did the punishment serve the crime? Well, you know what? I hope he learned from it. I definitely hope he learned from it.
You would hope.
And I don't think that you should present opportunities for individuals who have, caused a lot of pain and suffering to others. But there might be ways that we can learn from what he's done and do a better job to protect ourselves in the future. So those are my quick thoughts on it.
Yeah, just adding to that, I think, one of the things that you saw here that's pretty common with these human social engineering tactics is a sense of urgency. You hear about it all the time. He used that sense of urgency to trigger her to give him access, and then give up her passwords and give him access to her accounts. So you gotta, you hear it all the time. Slow down, take your time, don't be rushed. If somebody's telling you they're your IT team, your IT security teams aren't going to rush you. That's what scammers do. Scammers need to rush you. They need to get you to quickly give them the access they need so they can do what they need to do and get in and get out, right?
Right.
So
They don't want you to think about it.
yeah.
They want you to make mistakes.
Yeah, exactly. And they're doing their homework. They know, they study the org charts. They look at the company's LinkedIn profiles. They're mimicking internal scripts and tools, and they're going to tell you exactly what they think you need to hear because they've done their OSINT. They've looked up the company and they understand what they need to say to try to trick you. So with that, I mean, I think we close this one out, Jason. I'll just say this. If you liked this story, you're going to love the next story. The next story is legitimately insane. Episode 2 is coming out shortly. It's all about Cicada 3301. And before we get to the outro here, I just want to say thank you to our sponsors that made this particular episode possible. Thank you to ThreatLocker, Alacronet, and Fulcrum Technology. One other one is CypherNova.ai. We appreciate everything that you guys do. Thank you for looking after us and helping us to get the word out.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. So with that, cheers, everybody, until the next one. Hey, take us out, Blake.
In summary, Graham Ivan Clark didn't break Twitter. He convinced it to open the door, with tone, with timing, with borrowed authority. This wasn't a story about brilliance. It was a story about weakness, a system built on humans, broken by one. Join us next time where we'll leave the world of corporate systems and step into something much, much stranger. A puzzle hidden in plain sight, a code that spread across the globe, a message that asked only one thing: can you think differently? In our next episode, we dive into Cicada 3301, one of the internet's greatest mysteries, a challenge that appeared without warning, recruited the brightest minds, and then vanished. No culprit, no explanation, no ending. You've been listening to the Cyber Distortion podcast with Kevin and Jason. This was episode 1, the day that Twitter died, and next time, we chase a puzzle that still doesn't want to be found. Until then, stay safe out there. Don't forget to subscribe and tell a friend about us so we can continue to grow. Much love. Encrypting.
Do zero-day exploits and supply chain attacks keep you up at night? Worry no more. You can harden your security with ThreatLocker. Imagine taking a proactive, deny-by-default approach to cybersecurity, blocking every action, process, and user unless specifically authorized by your team. ThreatLocker helps you do this and provides a full audit of every action, allowed or blocked, for risk management and compliance. Onboarding and operation is fully supported by their US-based support team. Stop the exploitation of trusted applications within your organization to keep you running efficiently and secure, protected from ransomware. Worldwide, companies like JetBlue trust ThreatLocker to secure their data and keep their business operations flying high. To learn more about how ThreatLocker can mitigate unknown threats and ensure compliance for your organization, visit threatlocker.com.